I am back again with another video. In the last video, the anime video, the music was way too fucking loud. What I'm gonna do now is have the music be significantly quieter, and then it'll probably be too damn quiet, but I don't care. Basically, this video is basically about figuring out how much time save your run actually has, because you can see how much time you have off the summer best, but let's be real, that doesn't truly mean anything. What you actually want is how much realistic time save you have. And that might also, you know, if your summer best sucks or whatever, it's like, oh, this gold is like terrible, you know, I'm definitely, next PB, I will beat that gold by like 5 seconds, but even then, you gotta, isn't just about that. You know, this is especially for, like, this video is especially people with, like, more optimized summer best, but it can, you know, be insightful to many people, I think. So, basically, I'm going to go over the no pause storage run I got a few hours ago, the 10120. Run was pretty good. Now, if my summer best was optimized, it'd be, like, 59, 58. If it was, like, super good. Which means that then I would be playing like a minute 22 off the summer best. But right now it's a minute 16, which is not the best I've ever played off my summer best in this category. I think the best is like a minute 12 or a minute 10 or something. But that was a few years ago with less strats. I even added strats. I even added a strat today, but I didn't get the gold with it. I'm still waiting to gold on 2 segments that I really want to gold in. But yeah. This video probably won't be very long, but yeah, it'll basically just be like how to figure out how much time save you actually have. Now, refer to my video about why playing close to summer best is hard, because, you know, just very quickly, you know, loads are going to be different, like how fast you skip cutscenes is going to be different. And there's a lot of cutscenes and a lot of loads in this game. There's also just human limitation, and your Xbox could just choke, your disc could be deteriorating. You know, just things like that, basically. But yeah, like, so, after no cheese, for example, I don't know if I split properly, but if I did, 0.1 off my gold, that's very good. That's very, very, very good. In no cheese, there's a trick called truck skip, saves like 0.6, but it's, even if you do it perfectly, it can just sometimes not work because the cutscene takes too long to load. But I got it that time. I can't really expect to get it the majority of the time, but I only do it because it's like right at the beginning of the run, basically, and because you basically need, at least back in the day with Frogfish, you basically had to do it to, like, reasonably go for world record anyway. So yeah, that no cheese was, like, practically, for humans, you know, it's effectively the beginning of a perfect run. The reason why I'm using this run, by the way, is because the run was the best I've ever played in my entire life until Guest 2, which is quite late in. So I got the 2 frame there, but I always expect myself to get that. One thing as well, like how good the PB, you can, you know, in this game, we have the currency of manlies. That's also, like, a big notable thing. This split was really good, if I remember correctly. Yeah, even the ending was good. Like, this is all, like, really... The cone jump is really fucking inconsistent and cringe. So now, you know, getting a 208 at all is really good. I split early, though, very early, but... Yeah, I got a 3-fit. So, as you can see, even though I split early, even if I didn't split early, I'm playing, like, within a second of the summer best. Which is, this far in is crazy, because a lot of the time I can't even do that past no cheese. And yet depression is even more, it's nearly double the length, and it's way worse at no cheese. Even though it doesn't have truck skip, like, it's still, you know. Sandwich driving, even just, like, how good you turn the corners and stuff really can make the difference. There's a wrecking ball cycle. In this, obviously, sandwich out of bounds, there's, like, a billion ways to fail it, so there's different, like... You know, like, my turn there was kind of wide. Like, it's hard to play close to the gold here, but I think this played close to the gold. Making sure you use all your nitros effectively and stuff like that. There's like a lot of ways that we know how to use nitros effectively. This was my first ever 558, I think. Oh wait, no, I'm plus 0.2 off the best. Was not. It's my second ever 558 exit. So already the run is really, really good. My 3K was not good, but I don't remember why. As for... Oh, wait, hold on. I accidentally held down even during the bash boost, and I don't know why I did that, but I lost probably even like a second. And then I missed right side once, which is very rare. So those two mistakes, the first thing I've literally never done before, and missing right side is very uncommon. So I've just lost like 2 seconds, and that time save is very easy to obtain. And I think the rest of this was completely fine. But now it's like, oh, well, that's 2 seconds of time save then. Technically, yes, it is 2 seconds of realistic time save. You'll see at the end that I get a 406, but my 401 is like godlike, and I did steamed earlier, which my run doesn't do. I should probably stop picking it up, but it is a lot of difficulty for half a second of time save. It's just unreliable. It just makes everything a bit harder. If you miss bounceless, like bounceless loses even more time than it already does. It's just not good. A little more RNG, just the movement's a little harder for half a second. If it was a second, then yeah, but half a second is just so hard to justify after finally getting out of the sandwich driving hell. But yeah, the rest of this 3K is very standard. I'm pretty... Oh, wait, no, and I got stuck on the menu for a bit because I was being dumb. So, it's like at least 2.5 seconds of very realistic time save there. But then that's expecting 2.5 seconds of time save while also playing the rest of 3K as good as I did in this segment, which that was pretty good. So it's not actually 2.5 seconds then, realistically, because then I have to play just as good in those parts where I play good and then fix the parts where I play bad. That is still not completely out of the question or anything. I've done it plenty of times, but it's not realistic. I'm not going to get that a majority of the time. I'm going to get that like a quarter of the time. You might say that's enough to be realistic, but how many runs get past sandwich driving? You're playing with statistics constantly. There's a delta that you can add to your splits called PB chance, and it bases it off of like, you know, your golds, your reset count per split, and all that stuff. And at this point in the run, my PB percent chance would probably be like under 1%, or maybe like a little over 1% or something. It wouldn't be 2%, no chance. Like, yeah, into 3, like, it's, you know, it's so reset heavy in the first 3 splits. And then, like, little things, like this rubber dub was particularly below average. Because my setup was a little slow. I just moved the stick back a little too much. Like, I was supposed to go... I go down left, but I don't go... in this, I went, like, down for a bit and then went left. But I'm supposed to do, like, a little down left. So I lost, like, half a second. It's pretty unrealistic, like, realistic for me to beat that. Also, I didn't get wood, but that's not... I can't reasonably expect myself to get a 1 for him. So yeah, that's also realistic time save. So it's like, oh, 3 seconds of realistic time save. And we'll add them up. Right now we're at 3 seconds of realistic time. I played really close to the gold. My gold is only a gold because of something that's a pain in the ass to explain. But basically, with side jumping, if you fuck them up in a very specific way, you can actually save time. You never actually intentionally go for that because it's stupid. So the gold is realistic. I can't really beat that segment. Then I just decided to get some fucking 1 frames. And I did them a little slow. I should have gone left a lot sooner. I should have gone, like, here to save, like, half a second. But I can't reasonably expect myself... Because you get, like, the worst fucking visual cue ever. Look, look at the visual cue to turn around. It's abysmal. It's so bad. like, the bridge is going downwards, and you're in the tub, and you just can't, like, with, like, slide jumps with Patrick, you can use his feet and the shadow, but the shadow is not as good here, and the feet are just not reliable. Because you can't see him, and instead you have, like, this big fucking circular thing, and, like, well, tub, but yeah, it's just a big circular thing. It's fucking stupid. So, this is I can't get this half the time. I probably get this like a third of the time. On good days, I get it like half the time, but those are few and far between. On average, I get it like a third of the time, or maybe like 30% of the time. And then on bad days, I get it like a fifth of the time or a quarter of the time. So yes, if I get the one frame jumps, then it is realistic for me to save like half a second here, or maybe yeah, like somewhere around there. And I didn't get wood again, but I can't really expect that. But I just cannot expect myself to reasonably get this when the run is already good. I'm +3 off my best splits, and my best splits are insane. That's another way of telling, like, how good a run is, by the way. I highly, highly recommend best split times. It just compares against, like, your best ever split time for that segment, and the only issue is that I can make good runs kind of feel like shit when they're not actually shit, but it's just, like, your good run was, like, insane, but there's no need to look at sandwich driving, it was really good. This was, like, pretty normal, I suppose. I mean, you know, I lost, like, over a second, but that segment is harder to play close to the golden. So, maybe, like, 0.2 or 0.3 seconds realistic time save, but that literally rounds down to 0. My weenie was really good. It's so hard to play close to my golden weenie. Mostly because of Conquer 2 key, it's so hard to get an optimal turn. But my segment here was pretty good. So the TLDR is that I can't reasonably go up against it. It's so annoying as well. I think I said it before. My gold year is a 309.8, but in Hundo I got a 309.45 while grabbing the extra, even though we've proven that the extra loses time to grab, so I lost like half a second. So if anything, it actually would have been like 308 equivalent, and I just don't know how I got that, because I didn't highlight it, because it wasn't actually a 309.4. It would have been, but I forgot to upgrade Slam, so I spliced it in just to see what it would have been, and I just didn't think to highlight it, and I deleted my VOD because my video folder is on, like, all my streams are like 40 plus gigabytes, or 50 gigabytes, and yeah, I mean, it's annoying. I really should have looked into it. My Frogfish was very good. I've already said before about how Frogfish can charge, as his first charge can be as late, can lose as much as like 0.3 off of like a perfect one, and at the end is no fault of your own. This is also a little random, like where, like, you know, it's kind of random that like the pung was that far away, plus a little bit of time. But yeah, still no realistic time save. Rock Slide, same thing, no realistic time save. I played pretty much as good as I can. It might seem like I lost a chunk, but, like, my gold is technically not fake, but, you know, impossible to beat by a little over a second, because my gold didn't go for a buffer, and then I purposely skipped manlies to make the gold as good as possible, and I would just never actually do that, so, yeah, no realistic time save there. Now that we're men, I don't get Spewer Boost, and Spewer Boost loses a lot to not get. It saves like 5 seconds if done perfectly, but because I usually miss it, and whenever you miss it, you generally, not always, but you can lose time. My high, I could have probably gone for that. It's like the hardest trick in the game. It's extremely precise, but basically, like, you want to jump off of this at the, not too late, not too early. You want to get a lot of height when you jump off the eel, not too little, not too much. Then you want to, like, stand on a very specific part of the pressure plate, bash at, like, a super specific angle and shit, like, and then you bash boost over, and then with a good angle, you bash boost on the second time. The second time is easy, but if you get a bad angle from the first one, you can't do the second one. The second one saves, like, the second part of it saves, like, as much as, like, the first part. Like, they're both, like, roughly 2.5 each. But instead, like, this is, like, the alternative. But I can't reasonably get it when it's, like, the hardest trick in the game, and it's, like, halfway through the run, and it's really fucking hard and precise. Imagine if I got on a run like this as well. Like, that's just unreasonable. Like, so there's no realistic time save here. So the realistic time save is still 3 seconds. Now, this was stupid. I fully acknowledge that was stupid, so let's see how much I lost. Hold on. 1, 2... Okay, so it was like 2 seconds. Okay. So 5 seconds of realistic time save throughout the run. Okay, then. 5 seconds. I implemented this today. You can ledge grab skip here, but it's not reasonable, at least right now. I've only put a couple hours into the trick, but it's just, like, not reasonable. I didn't gold this, but I played very close to gold. So the only realistic... Well, I don't understand how I didn't gold, because I only lost 2 seconds from that, and my gold is unbeatable, because I did a strat I haven't been able to replicate since 2021. That's 3.5 seconds. But I saved 4 from it, so I should have golded by half a second, but I missed gold by like 0.2 or something, and I don't really understand why, because everything else seemed fine, but yeah, anyway. SCDA, there's like no realistic time save. There is something you can get that I call Fogger Push. It's completely RNG. Here, it's possible for a Fogger to, like, during this cutscene to push you forward and you save, like, a few frames, and that is, like, a tiny thing. Again, just, like, how fast you, like, skip text boxes, or in this case, like, press R on the thing. I don't know how much time I lost. It, like, kind of lags back there for some reason. I'm -8 on my best split at this point, but I didn't play this category for weeks, and I got better at the game by playing all extras, which is just a harder and longer category, except for having a arguably easier early game. I missed like 3 jumps here, but I got the 2 frame, and the 2 frame saves like 3 seconds, but you hardly ever go for the 2 frame because it's risky, so you actually go for the 1 frame, and the visual cue is bad, which then allows me to... My gold is like unbeatable here, because I somehow squeezed the Fogger throw in between the Merv and the buttons, and I don't know how I did that. Because I can do that now, but only by waiting a few seconds. Like, that's a strat to make... That stack I got just then is, like, normally, like, a 3-second stack or something, but on a load cycle, so from 3 me to 2 frame load, you can make it, like, a half a second cycle if you do... That was a low arm optimal, so I lost, like, an extra, like, half a second, but it's just not reasonable, really, to... Like, I lost 5... off the gold, but I already can't beat it by, like, at least 2.5 seconds anyway. So I lost 2.5, which means I would... And the 2 frame saves 3 seconds, and I can't reasonably... It's one of the hardest ones in the run, so I can't actually reasonably expect myself to get it. I didn't get the 2 frame here. You can't reasonably expect Dennis 1 and Dennis 2 2 frames. Because basically... I don't think they're proper 2 frames, I think there's something to them. Basically, what the concept is... When you skip the cutscene, you have a 2-frame window immediately after to press start. If you do that successfully, you'll skip the token animation. And just save like 5.5. Well, those should be like the easiest ones in the run then, what's the problem? I just like never get them. No one ever gets them. Like, they're so inconsistent. We know that they're 2 frames. But what I'm thinking... Here's what I'm thinking, right? I'm thinking that sometimes... What I'm thinking is that if you take too long to, like, skip the cutscene... If you take too long to skip the cutscene... I'm thinking that it burns through those 2 frames, and skipping the cutscene fast can be hard because I'm a bad masher. Or... What it also could be is that sometimes the game lags and just eats at least one of the 2 frames, or if not both of them. Or that the 2-frame window was not actually the frame after skipping the cutscene. It might be like 2 or 3 frames and then it's the 2-frame window. I'm thinking it might be something like that. They've never been consistent. We tried timing it. There were plenty of times in this game where like when you use the menu to buffer, and then you get out of a buffer, like, during a damage boost, like, you press B, and then literally 1 frame later, 1 frame after pressing B, you need to press A. And we do that a few times. We can do that just fine. What's the problem with this? I don't fucking know. It just doesn't work. So you can't reasonably expect to get it, basically. I think this was pretty standard. Yeah, this is looking pretty normal. The only thing is that I fucked up and warped a throwing fruit. But that doesn't actually lose time in itself if you menu properly. This was pretty normal, I think. Yeah, pretty normal. However, I did fuck up a little bit in the menuing. I lost like a second. That might be a little inaccurate. But I kind of feel like I lost like maybe a second. Considering I said I lost like 0.3 in some other segment and I didn't count it out, and I'll count this, so... Alright, so we're at 6 seconds of realistic time save, which is like a little more than the average token 2 frame. I believe the cycle was kind of average. Did I menu correctly? Hold on. Menuing is a big thing. You can't menu too fast or else it won't like register inputs. Yeah, no, fine. The only realistic time save in Sunday, I think, is on lap 3. And I made this mistake for not the first ever time, but the first time in months yesterday, and then I made it again today. It was kind of cringe. But basically, I missed this nitro. Oh, and I gotta... If you get a bad angle here, when you get off this, you get a high bounce and it loses like half a second or something. And then I nitroed when I shouldn't have. And basically, I had to go around. And that also lost me like... Dude, that lost me... All of that lost me maybe even like 2.5 seconds, maybe. Yeah, I'm thinking I lost like 2.5. So that's 8.5 seconds of realistic time save. Here, for skipping these, I actually lost quite a bit, and I don't really know why. I guess it's bad movement. My guess was kind of slow for skipping manlies and shit. It wasn't bad, but I don't know, I would have expected like it to be like 0.4 faster or something, but we'll skip that for now. This Dennis 2 is really good, and you will see now. Got the 2-frame and golded. I did split by a little bit, but I retimed it after the stream, and I golded by 0.05. So like a few frames, and it was my first gold since 2021. I think my previous goal was from like April like 3rd or something, 2021. This was a very long time ago. Anyway. So, we're still at 8.5 seconds of time save. And then this happens. Now, that is absolutely devastating. Look at the best possible time. I'm playing 40.5 seconds off the summer best. I've never played this good in my life. 40... Okay, no, seriously now, right? 40.5 seconds off the summer best when... I lost, like, loads of time just not doing Spewer Boost. And my 3k was bad. And my Sunday was, like, bad. And I had some bad menus. Like, dude, I played within a second of my summer best per minute. Per minute of gameplay, on average, I lost under a second. I played like 0.8 or 0.9 off my summer best per minute. That is actually insane. That is genuinely insane. I've never played this good in my life. This was the best, like, obviously there were a lot less strats back in the day, but you gotta think of like the mentality, like what the standards were back then. The best run of all time in movie, I believe it's generally considered to either be Cole's 138 in No Major Glitches, back when it was any percent, because he played within like 43, I think it was like 43 seconds off his summer best or something, but his summer best wasn't that old, and there were like way less strats back then, like 1 billion less strats. However, GameCube was also a very inconsistent console where, like, sometimes cutscenes or loads could just take extra long to load and all that stuff. And Cole made, like, literally, like, one mistake in the entire run or something, cost him, like, 6 seconds, I think it was in, like, SCDA. Like, the run basically had... But for playing that long, it pretty much had no mistakes. And the standards, for the standards back, dude, it took, like, 2 years and a 3+ minute advantage on Xbox for anybody to beat him. Like, it was... That run was insane. Then is my 129.07. I played a minute 6 off the summer best, but my summer best was also kind of fresh. I did make, like, 2 major mistakes, but the run had way more strats back then, and I got the first ever 129 and nearly skipped 129, and if I was playing on OG, then I would've, and if I was playing on NTSC, then I would've, and if I was accidentally doing a slow route, and I lost time from doing the slow route anyway because I fucked something up in it, so that also cost me 128, and yeah. That run, it was so good I had to quit movie for like a year and a half. It was so good. So amazing. But I did have a couple major mistakes, and, well, actually, well, I had like one major mistake pretty much. Especially for the standards back then, yeah, it was like pretty much like one major mistake. But it had a lot of small hiccups, like stupid ledge grabs and bonking and all that. And terrible nitro routing, but obviously we didn't know that back then. So that run was also insane. And revolutionized the game. Then is my 107.34 no pull storage. I stopped playing the category for like 3 or 4 months or something, and then when I came back, I had like 10 seconds of strats, and it still took me like a few weeks to beat my time, and when I did, I only beat it by like 3 seconds. I think it was more than 10 seconds, actually. I think I had, like, 14 seconds or something. And only, like, one of the time saves was, like, hard. Like, that run was seriously insane. I think that was the run where I played, like, a minute 10 off the summer best or something. That run was seriously, like, unbelievably good. I got it in, like March or April 2020. I think it was April 2020. 3 years, and now the run has gone down by 7 minutes. Pretty crazy. But 3 minutes of that is because of rub-it-up skip. And then, you know, yeah. Well, there's kind of still crazy because we still get all the same tokens in almost the same order. You only change the route now. It's been like 1 or 2 extra 2 frames and, slightly faster backtracking thingy in the early game that saves like literally like 1 or 2 scrolls was just like a few frames, if that. But I'm rambling a bit, but basically, like, those are, like, the 3 god runs of this. Well, my All X's run. My All X's run should be in there, but because it's not a category that people immediately think of, is probably not going to get put in with the other 3. But my All X's run, it had, like, 2 major mistakes, but the rest of the run is practically flawless, like, for a human. And yeah, like, yeah, it's just not... It was really on a whole other level, but... Yeah, well, anyway, back to this. We're going to ignore this for now. We're going to ignore that miss for now. Getting guest jumps is quite hard. Those jumps just then were very good, so no realistic time save there. So we still are at 8.5 seconds of time save. The menuing was not a problem. I played really close to my gold here. Nothing I can really do here reasonably. Now next is this split. This trick is hard, but I still have... I was getting it a lot, and I started missing it recently, so... So I lost, like... maybe just under 2 seconds. We'll just say 2 seconds, so now 10.5 seconds of time save. And then the rest of the split... Oh my god, dude. I pressed A and the game just didn't fucking do it. We're just gonna ignore that for now. And this is also a little hard to say if it's, like, realistic. I, like, always fuck this up. You want a guitar under the statue, but unupgraded guitar has, like, no hitbox, so it's gotta be super precise, and I basically always fuck it up. Dude, I always miss specifically 2 guitars, and then get it 3 times. Like, dude, I do that, like, every single time. So I don't know if I could say that's realistic time save, because I just never, ever, just don't, not literally never, but, like, I'm not joking, I do that, like, 3/4 of the time, so I feel like I can't reasonably expect myself to, you know. There was nothing wrong with Knucklehead or Neptune either, by the way. I'm just gonna say that now. Spoilers, so 10.5 seconds. I know those are 2 big mistakes, but we'll get to that. 10.5 seconds of time save of, like, the little things. 10.5 seconds of realistic time save. But here's what the point I'm trying to get across. It's not realistic time save. In 3K, I got a 558, I can't reasonably go up against that. I can reasonably get like a 6 flat or a 601, and then get a good 3K, but then that just makes me break even. So now, I'm not actually -2 or whatever I said earlier, I'm fucking -0. Off of like a good expected run. When I get a run going and it's like good, this is what I would do. 10.05 is what I'd expect. Or maybe even 10.06, but even being a little nice, 10.05. And 10.58 exit is kind of average for me. And that BBBH is not... What was the next time save I said? Oh yeah, it was, this. However, that was after... you know, standard rubber dub, an amazing BBBH, a really good rubber dub 2, a really good sandwich driving 2, a standard 3K2, a really good weenie, a really good frogfish, a really good rock slide, and a standard here monster. I've been playing above average for, you know, at this point, since past 3K, 20 minutes. I've been playing above average for like 20 minutes with basically no actual notable flaws. So to finally make a 2-second mistake is not exactly unreasonable, is it? As expected. Again, you can only be so consistent even at easy stuff. I get this, like, 80% of the time, but that 20% I'm going to miss. Like, if you're stacking trick after trick after trick after trick, and they're all like 95%, 82%, 76%, 83%, like... It eventually gets to the point where you statistically have to miss a trick. And human error is always going to be an issue. And there are just going to be days where you just fucking nail a trick like it's nobody's business. There's going to be days where you just cannot get a trick to save your life. That's how it goes. But... Dude, it's especially, like... Dude, I played really good for 20 minutes, and I made a 2-second mistake. And that 2-second mistake was stupid... But it was 2 seconds, and it was after playing good for 20 minutes. And I implemented a trick today, and I actually got it in this run. This trick is pretty hard. Long story short, you have to do a slower and harder Chris skip to then ledge grab up to above the token. So his Chris skip in difficulty goes from like a 2 out of 10 to like a 6 out of 10 immediately, which might not seem like much, but that is a massive jump in difficulty. Even if a 6 out of 10 is still not that hard, it just means I'll miss it like quite a lot more often. Like... If I did 100 attempts at Chris skip and I missed it like 8 times, with this I'd miss it like 20 times out of like 100, or like maybe like 15 times, but that's still way more than like missing it like 7 or 8 times. Again, the ledge grab skip is unreasonable, and then I got this pretty fast, so. Right now is going to be my worst consistency with the trick, because I've only put a couple hours into it, like, it's just going to get more consistent. And then, obviously, after I fully get it consistent, it's going to get to a point where some days it just sucks. There's some shit that can go wrong. It's possible to drown in the lava and not get the token, and then the run's basically not going, you know, if I play amazing for the rest of it, then the run's not dead, but realistically, run's dead. But anyway, so that saved me 4 seconds. Is it reasonable for me to get that? Right now, it's hard to say. But it should be more consistent than 2 sandwich out of bounds. And I'm doing 2 sandwich out of bounds. And for halfway through a run, and for something where the majority of the time when you miss it, you only just lose a few seconds compared to not going for it, like, it's... But Missing it compared to getting it will suck, and... yeah, I can probably get this to like 60-70% consistency, but I need to try it more. It's quite hard. But either way, my PB got it, so it might sound like I'm just rambling, but yeah, like, this is just, you know, random thing. It's hard to say if I can reasonably... yeah, so... because then, the 2 seconds of realistic timesave from earlier, are they negated by getting that trick? I don't know. It's hard to say with that one, so I'm not going to count that because I just don't know how consistent I can get it. So we've established so far why it's very... look, 3.5 seconds ahead of best split times. I'm playing currently 21 seconds off the summer best for 32 minutes of gameplay, and Spewer Boost got involved. If I got Spewer Boost, my best possible time right now would be like 1 flat, like 19, which is just ridiculous. And then the next time save was... oh yeah, it was Sunday. But again, really good junkyard, quite a good boob tube, all things considered. Standard Dennis, good other... well, with the factor in the menuing. Standard SCDA floating block, standard BBBH. Or I mean SCDA 2, not SCDA floating block. The Sunday jump on lap 3 is quite hard, and I only get it like half the time, or maybe it fluctuates so much, it was hard to say. I'd say like 60% consistency, and I got a pretty good one too. There were days where it just never ever works. It's so feel-based, and that could have been a little faster. That was a little unoptimal, but you don't care about that. You're just happy to make it over to the other side. But with its fluctuation, I just can't reasonably... it's gone to the point now where I just have to say, like... and then if I don't get Sunday Jump, then I can't beat a 404. I feel like I have to just say, yeah, I will still beat it, like, a segment like that, maybe like a third of the time, but it's just not enough for me to say realistic, especially if the run's already good. I've already, like, gone a bunch of shit. So, isn't it, you know, and then the Gesk is a tiny bit below average, but only barely. The Dennis 2 is way above average. Not counting the death in Gesk 2. The rest of it's, like, unreasonable to beat. Other than Mistaken Plank 2, like, the entirety of Plank is unreasonable to beat. Knucklehead and Neptune are unreasonable to beat. So then those, none of those little time saves really mean much. They provide a tiny cushion, but I can't reasonably play, like, okay, if I did, like, of course if I did, like, a fucking, like, 4,000 more attempts, then yeah, I'm bound to get another run that can fucking match it eventually, however long it takes, maybe even 2 or 3, but when you say realistic, like, could you, like, I stream this game for an average of, like, 30 hours a week or something, can I reasonably, in that time, get a run this good again? No, I can't. I don't know how, it's gonna take weeks, like, weeks. And I don't want to wait for a run. Like, I'm probably just going to be done with this category if I can PB by another, like, 6 seconds or something. So we've already established why the little time saves are just not realistic. But what about the 2 huge ones that made this run go from absolutely god-tier, fucking unbeatable, like, unironically one of the best speed runs I've ever seen in my life, to just good? Well, Gesk 2 is the... these are a bunch of one-frame jumps, and again, the visual cue is terrible because it's a fucking crown. You have to, like, slow down a bit, and then, like, if you don't get this jump, it's so hard to recover the jumps after that. And I lost a lot of time. Basically, I got a 120. If you don't do guess jumps, you get, like, and with good movement, you'll get, like, a mid-121, and I got, like, a mid-120, so I only saved, like, a second doing the jumps. The best you can get, like, with slowing down a little bit, I think is, like, a 105 or a 104. But, yeah, I think it's, like, 104, but you'll know, you know, you can't reasonably expect that. If that didn't happen, I would have gotten, like, 105, I think. So, technically, I lost, like, 15 seconds. But I can't reasonably expect that, especially after getting Dennis 2 gold and all that shit. So what I would actually say, it's to the point now where I do get guess jumps like half the time, and I need to get them at this point. Like at this point, unless I get to run this good again, I cannot afford to miss guess jumps anymore. So I have to expect myself to get them. And for that, once you get the first jump going, the rest are a lot easier, even though you can still easily choke them. Earlier this stream, I got guess jumps that were so bad, even though I got them first try. The jumps were so bad that I lost like a few seconds of just not even doing the fucking trick. That does happen sometimes. But I have to expect myself to get them. So I can reasonably expect like 107s or something. That's pretty realistic. So I lost like 13 seconds. Right? So I'm gonna keep a note of that. 13 seconds. All the little times has been negated at this point, but so let's just keep an eye on that. So 13 seconds there. And then monumental. Not gonna count the little time save because again, just negated. This is gonna be a little difficult to figure out, but I can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then 14, 15, 16. Oh, but then negating a bit of walking, so it's like 14 and a half. I lost 14 and a half, but how realistic actually is that? Honestly, if I'm expecting myself to get the damage boost at the beginning, I can get like a 202 or something, like a 202.5, like pretty realistically. That's pretty damn realistic. But that damage boost is pretty hard. Dude, it only saves like half a second, but I feel like I've been roped into doing it now. I might give it up for the bash boost, because the bash boost is, well, not bash boost. No, it is a bash boost. It makes the trick, like, go from getting it, like, half the time to, like, getting it, like, 80% of the time to lose half a second, so I'm thinking about doing it, but at least for now I'm still doing it, and I kind of expect myself to get it. I've been getting it more consistent than ever, and I get it, like, half the time, and 50% is not great, but coin flip is good enough, kinda, to say realistic. I don't know, that was a bit iffy, but I can expect, like, mid-202s, I would say. I will sometimes just choke. The wall jump's the easy to choke. If you don't have enough height to the other side, you die and lose over a minute, but obviously, you know, that would just kill a round anyway. It's hard to get, like, a first try, like, up clip sometimes. And it's hard to get good money, but yeah, so actually, no, I'll say, like, this is actually quite realistic. I'd say, like, mid-203 is, like, pretty damn realistic. So compared to that, I lost basically, like, 14 seconds, pretty much. Now we have our two time saves, 13 seconds and 14 seconds, which adds up to 27 seconds. Realistic save. Now, I know all the little time saves got negated, but even these big ones are gonna get negated too. I can't play with, like, minor hiccups really well. Then get Dennis 2-frame. Then get guess jumps first try. Then get good more bounce. Then get good monumental. Like, and then even if I do mini skip, I fail anyway, because it fails like a fifth of the time. It's a luck thing. It literally is luck. We don't know why it doesn't work sometimes. It fails like a fifth of the time. So even if the stars do align, there's like a 1 in 5 chance the run just fucking instantly dies. Like, 55 minutes in. So dumb. So 27 seconds a realistic time save. Now, I can reasonably be ahead of my run, or, I mean, matching it, you know, going into BBBH. Then BBBH, like, nah, I'm losing, like, at least, like, 3 seconds here. Then I'm not getting the 1-frame jump, so now I'm, like, plus 10. In Weenie and Frogfish, I can expect, like, 2 seconds of time. I'll say, like, 1.5. So now we're plus 11.5. Rock slide like half a second, so that's 12 plus 12. I don't know what to do with humans, so I'll just keep it like that for now. Probably lose like, even on good runs, probably lose like 2 seconds here, so now I'm like plus 14. Yeah, I guess this is like fine. This, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. If I miss Sunday jump and the rest is really good, then I can get like 406, so maybe I assume like 2 seconds of time loss. I think it's reasonable to either get the trick and then play a tiny bit off, or play really good and then miss a trick. I feel like that both is so like plus 2, so now we're like plus 16. Also, this was the very first run where I didn't have enough manlies, or I didn't have enough to upgrade guitar by Knucklehead, even though I got the 2 second stack, so that's concerning. The more strats we add, like the more manly, although the strat that I added today doesn't actually skip any manly, so I don't know why. I only had enough by like 50, I have no idea why, no idea. And maybe I got really bad combos or something, but I just don't understand how that happened. So I might not even be able to skip the half a second stack and guess, and I have to play really good, but I'm not going to count that. This 2 frame is just completely unreasonable. It just is completely unreasonable. So now we're talking like at least like 6 seconds of time loss. So plus 22. Plank, even on good runs, should still be. I should, you know, I only played like a second off the gold. I should probably increase that by like, God, again, even on a good run. I mean, what can go wrong? What goes wrong on average? Missing the 2 frame, but then that would, like, I don't know, I still get it like 2/3 of the time, or like 60% of the time. Yeah, I guess I'll just add like another second to it. I feel like on a good run it's easy to choke a tad. And then we already went over Monumental. Knucklehead, it was a little fast, but it's pretty fine. And then Neptune was like pretty fast. I should add like at least half a second to that. So, the total, all the small time saves got negated. My 2 big time saves are 27 seconds. The amount of time I lose all throughout the run realistically is 23.5 seconds, which means that my actual realistic time save of the run is 4.5 seconds. Actually, no, not even 4.5, it's 3.5 seconds. I have 3.5 seconds of realistic time save, as in, that is what I could PB by it until it starts to be like unreasonable. So I can expect myself to get like a 101.17, and it'd still be quite a good run, but that's what I can expect without playing not just above average, because obviously you got to play above average to PB, but to play very, very good. So when I start PBing by 4 seconds or higher, that's when the run is really good. Whereas 3.5 seconds is like the best the time could be while still just calling the run like quite good. So like an 8 out of 10 run or something like that, or 7.5 out of 10 run. So yeah, we figured out how much time save I actually have. 3.5 seconds. Obviously this is assuming like I didn't skip any cutscenes were super slow or super fast, and like assuming all the loads were normal. Not examining my loads, Jesus Christ. So yeah, 3.5 seconds of realistic time save. That might sound ridiculous, but there is one more thing I want to show you. I try to keep my attempt count accurate, so I'll remove an attempt after I'm done with this, but basically, so these are my ranks, and S is the best, and then a deep fried picture of Anthony is deep fried picture of Anthony is the lowest one, but I didn't do that for any of these because that's only was looking for segments that are not just D, but they're so... They'd be like an F equivalent or something. But yeah, basically... Like, S is the best. So, S, S, A, B, A, S, 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 A, S, 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 A, S, 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 A, S, A, S, D, S. This is for the overall split. When it comes to, I do these manually, by the way, and these ranks are taken from Sonic Generations. When I get a, when I have subsplits, I always have 2 subsplits. Like, whenever I do have subsplits, it's never, like, 3 or 4 or whatever, it's 2. The second one, right, I guess, like, this represents the overall level, factoring the first split and the second split. So even though it, Monumental was a D, the Small Bounce being an S got it into, like, kind of, like, high C territory. But yeah, it's, like, an overall C. That's why it's like that, for example, not a D. You can get a program to do it automatically for you, but I trust myself to judge my own splits. Then A, and then S. So not counting these 2, there is 1 B split, and it's fucking 3K. Every single other split is ARS. Another way that you can tell, like, how good a run is, try to make pace splits. And you might not be able to if you don't have enough experience with the category and, like, your golds aren't good enough. But seriously now, figuring out how easy or hard a time is so much better when you make pace splits. I made these splits a couple hours ago. It was like an hour and a half ago. 101 1x pace. And these splits are harder to beat than I thought they'd be. I knew it'd be hard, but, like, this is because I can't expect any of the Dennis 2 frames. I can't expect the Roboto 1 frame, but if I get them, then I get big time save. I can't reasonably expect, like, a lot of stuff, which is why it's... I did expect myself to get the first token, but hopefully that won't be a mistake. So yeah, that's, like, the situation I'm in. I even expect myself to get Sunday Jump, because I just... Yeah. These will be pretty hard to beat, basically. And here's the final way that you can tell this run's really good. You might want to, like, zoom in or something, I don't know. What I'm going to do now is show, like, look. Oh wait, no, these are wrong splits. 0.18, 0.44, 1.21, like 4.8, and again, like half a second of that is just, like, not even accessible. 1.67, 0.84, 1, like, are you seeing the, like, the first, like, quote-unquote big one is 3K? If we keep scrolling down, it's all just, like, nothing, you know, Tunnel, we already went over that, like, Here Monster. I split early here, so I don't really think I need to retime this. And also, even if it golds, I don't really care because it's terrible. Like, no time save, no time save, no time save, no time save. Well, tiny bit maybe, but, like, not very realistically. Like, no time save. Not enough to warrant. Not enough. No. Obviously. No. Obviously. No. No. You noticing that a lot of these are just, like, within, like, 2 seconds? Even the ones that aren't, like, a lot of them are just like, no, you can't get this because of XYZ. This is going to be pretty hard to beat, but my run is currently... And keep in mind, this run is worse than my All Access run. Because my All Access run also has a pretty optimized... So they're about as optimized as each other, honestly. And All Extras, again, other than, like, the early game, is a lot harder, and it's longer, so it's even harder to play close to Summer Burst. And there's even more, like, RNG and even more, like, variance shit. So my All Access run is even better than this. I only just didn't use it because I wanted to do this one, because it'd be cool to kind of, like, analyze my PV that I just got. In All Extras, it's basically the same thing. I made, like, 1 or 2 major mistakes. I think it was 2 major mistakes, and the rest of the run was godlike, and that's... Basically, it was even better, though, because I made even less, like, little mistakes. But yeah. My conclusion is I have 3.5 seconds of realistic time save. I'm gonna keep going though because I want 59 Summer Burst. This is obviously assuming the standards don't increase, my movement doesn't get better, my loads don't get better, no more strats get found, etc. So yeah, hopefully this was interesting to you. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.